Here today we have the Fiat 500e, the cheapest EV in North America that has been so successful in the last month that it has been out, that the factory that makes it has been on a month-long shutdown. Let's take a look at why this has been so unsuccessful and why it is the cheapest EV. Styling-wise, I think that Fiat has done a really good job. We have the Project Red version right here, which means that some of that money is going towards helping out with HIV and AIDS. Very good. And the rest of the Project Red package means that it is red and it is the base model. That is it. That said though, they have done an excellent job at making this look like the typical Fiat 500 without ruining the look as it got turned into an EV. There also are a whole bunch of really nice little touches here that let you know that it was made in Italy. Like right here we have an Italian flag, and if you look a bit closer, we also have condensation. Opening up the hood, we have hydraulic lifters, love to see that, and there's not a whole lot going on in here. You don't get a frunk, but you do get enough space that if something does happen to break, you can probably get your hand in and fix it. And one thing that's pretty cool is apparently this powertrain will be offered to the aftermarket if you want to use it for EV conversions in the future. Moving around to the side, we have 17-inch alloys that are diamond cut and they are wrapped in 205 tires. We do not have door handles in the traditional sense, but you kind of put your hand in here, pull out. It actually does work really quite well. If you want to lock it when you go away, you just press that little button right there. After traversing all 3.6 meters from front to rear, we can see the back, which of course still does look really cool. I do love the red paint once again. And we have a little bit of a trunk. You can fit maybe 3 LTT backpacks in here. It's not the worst size trunk that I've ever seen. Unfortunately, they don't fold flat, so you can't fit anything really big in there. But overall, it could definitely be worse given the size of this car. Moving on to charging, this thing is built on a 400-volt architecture and features a 42 kilowatt-hour battery, which is quite small, which means that you only get 227 kilometers of range. What is fortunate though is that because the battery is quite small, charging it up is no problem at all, even on just a level 2 charger, and they were nice enough to include one in the back with it from the factory. Also, it's got cute little drum brakes. So there's not nearly enough headroom back here for anyone. There's also not enough legroom for anyone that isn't a child. The seats themselves are not the worst I've ever sat in, and you get a cup holder. Oh no. I thought that the seat went back to where I had it set, but it's as far as it will go forward. So if you want to fit 2 people that are 6 feet in here, one will be like this, and the other one will be exactly like this too, but in the back. Let's move this back a bit. Oh, there we go. Sitting down here in the driver's seat, it's actually pretty good. The seat itself, for one, looks really cool. I have this super nice Fiat stitching in there. We have an armrest right here that moves forward and back that has some excellent padding. We've got a little bit of padding on the left side here, and the rest of it all could be pretty accurately described as a very Fisher Price. In here, you also get one little cup holder that you can move away when you're not using it. You also get what's not really a cup holder, but you can use to put an LTT water bottle in right down there. You also get Type A and Type C charging, as well as 12 volt. And right in here is the microfiber cloth that you will need because all the stuff that you touch is piano black. Controls on the steering wheel, all piano black. Every single surface that you need to use is piano black. One place in here that was very nicely done is where you put your phone. They have a little cityscape of Torino where this was made. You can just throw it right in there. There's a Qi charger that will pair your phone, and it also has NFC that will allow for easy connection to the Bluetooth. And also, if you don't like wireless, you can just connect it right there to a data cable, and all of it just works really quite well. Moving on to the infotainment, it's not very good. Here we have a 10.3-inch screen, but that is a diagonal measurement, and the actual area is less than you might expect because it is so freaking wide, and the way that it is used is not the best, and it always wants to go like past where I want to be. So that I want the nav. Why did it go past the nav right there? I don't know. All of this is really quite confusing in here. Like we have audio settings, controls, settings, and vehicle, all of which are just different settings and will kind of just send you to different screens within this. and all of it is pretty difficult to use. In particular, because when I'm driving, I am back here like this, and it's a little bit of a reach, so I end up just using my thumb and having my hand planted on it like so. Overall, it's not the worst that I've experienced because it does at least have Android Auto, and that does work pretty good, even if the aspect ratio is a little bit weird, but it really likes to just sort of lag out or just kind of stop working at times, which is not the best. What is the best though, is the segue to our sponsor.
Manscaped. Is your facial hair turning you into a Sasquatch? Don't worry, Manscaped just dropped the new Chairman Pro package with everything you need to make the transformation from Sasquatch to Sphinx Cat. The electric foil shaver features a 360-degree contouring head and 2 interchangeable blades for a super close shave with the 4-blade foil or a rugged look with the stubble trimmer. And don't forget the Power Shave Gel and Face Shave Soother, which help reduce redness and irritation before and after you shave. Check out the Chairman Pro package at manscaped.com/circuit to get 20% off your order and free shipping.
Another fun little thing are the buttons to open the doors. It's just a little click and it actually works really quite well, but if you do get trapped inside, there is a handle down below to emergency release it. Okay, I'm recording in a kind of silly way here, but this has been annoying the ever-living hell out of me. So I'm going to put my foot on the brake, press the start button. Okay, it looks like it has started. All of this appears to be on. Look at that. Now, if I press drive, press brake pedal, and press start button, it doesn't work the first time, every single time. So I have to come in here again and press that. Why do I have to do that twice, guys? Just let me turn it on. It's so annoying. All right, now I can press the least satisfying gear selector and we'll be on our way. All right, here we are in the Fiat 500e. Traction control is off and we're gonna launch it. Wow. That is not very fast. In here we have 115 horsepower, actually it's 117, that's a good distinction, and 160 foot-pounds of torque, which takes you from 0 to 60 in 7.9 seconds. I don't know if you're really allowed to call it slow when it's under 8, because that I think is kind of the cutoff, so instead it is perfectly average in speed. Now once you've gotten out of a launch, it is pretty peppy. Like I can just floor it here. It's nothing exceptional, but it is enough to sort of dart in and out of traffic without really being worried like you might be in like an older gen Prius or a Yaris where you just can't quite keep up. That said though, where the problems come in are when you start entering a corner. I don't know how they managed it, but this thing is under 3,000 pounds and I was having genuine difficulty keeping up with our F-150 camera car. Like, how? How is this worse at handling than an F-150? Since a higher steering weight would be transformative to how this performs on the road, I spent literal hours trying to figure out how to get it more. So it says in the owner's manual, alternate electric power steering efforts can be selected in the Uconnect system. Refer to customer programming features within Uconnect settings and multimedia for further information. What does that mean? I have literally no clue. I've gone through all of the menus in here and could not find anything, so I thought, hey, maybe it's in the Fiat app. So I went, gave all my personal details to the dealer so that they can go and make money off of the data that I generate while I'm in this car, and turns out in this app, there is nothing about steering weight. I even went so far as contacting engineers within Fiat, I talked to Fiat assistants, all of them, absolutely no idea how to do it.
Okay, well, I'm not quite sure how to help you with that one.
So I guess we just have to deal with it. And the absolute worst part is, the steering weight isn't even the worst part of the whole handling setup, because the suspension in this is dog shit. It is fucking terrible. It is truly an accomplishment how the engineers at Fiat have managed to make the suspension in this both stiff and underdamped at the same time. So first of all, stiff. Stiff cars are great, because what you want to do is hit a bump and then have your car immediately settle. So you go over something, you're just like, poof, and that is completely fine by me, because then you can say that you're going in a corner, you hit a bump, your car doesn't get unsettled, and that is great. Whereas this right here, we're going to go into a corner, I don't know what's happening. Because this has this really weird thing where you hit a bump and it's more like, poof, because you sort of get the first bump and then a second bounce afterwards. But it's a really fast bounce. And a lot of other cars that are underdamped, sort of like your Mercedes, your big wallowy SUVs, you'll sort of, you get that bump and you're just like, boom. Like it sort of moves around a bit after you hit a bump, but at the same time, it's taking all of the harshness out of the ride and sort of just cruising over top of all of the stuff. This right here has somehow managed to both give you that initial sharpness of a hit and then a bounce, which means it's just always feeling unsettled. I never know what it's doing in a corner, and it's just bad. This is a brand new car. It has under 2,000 kilometers in it, and it also has a shake on the highway. I don't know if the tires are improperly balanced or it doesn't have the correct alignment, but what's even more impressive is that Jamie test drove a completely different car, and it also had a shake on the highway. It's really quite concerning when you're going down the highway in a brand new car, and it is just shaking the entire time. So if you currently have a Fiat 500e and it is shaking, new cars don't do that. Go to the Dodge dealer and tell them, fix it, please. Get a free alignment. Or if you're looking to get one of these, please, please, please have them throw in a balance and an alignment before you drive it off of the lot. In here we have the bass sound system, which is not as good as the JBL that you can get in the Inspired by Music trim, although that said, it's pretty hard to recommend an extra
$5,000
on top of a car whose main selling feature is being cheap. But that said, this right here is the worst sound system that we have ever measured. It has an incredible bump in the bass up until 60 hertz, where it just completely craters and goes off a cliff. So you have a lot of bass lines that will be really loud and then just completely disappear. Although that said, if you look at the frequency response, right around like 20 hertz, it has a little bump, and you can actually feel it because the doors, when you have really low notes, will start vibrating, and it's kind of fun. That said though, these speakers are not very good. No staging at all. You can just hear music from speaker down there. Get the JBL sound system if you want it to sound okay. Another thing that is reserved for the higher trims is adaptive cruise control. In my personal opinion, adaptive cruise is why you buy a new vehicle. It is the single best feature that has come out in the past 10 or so years. It is incredible, and it is a sin that the base models of this do not get it. You do get active braking, so that'll give you a bit off of your insurance, and I suspect that everything that's required for adaptive cruise is probably already on this, so chances are down the line you'll be able to just unlock it for free if you know what you're doing. I guess one thing that I want to make clear here is that I actually like this car as a concept. I have nothing against a low-range, cheap EV, because in my mind, that is where a lot of people will be getting their first EV once it makes a little bit more sense. I know that for like me and my partner, I have a gas car that can drive us wherever we want. She just drives to and from work every single day. This would be absolutely perfect, and we have been looking into EVs very similar to this. But that said, this is not it at all. With the Project Red package, this right here comes in at $42,000 Canadian. In BC, that gets knocked down to $33,000 with all the government subsidies. And at either of those prices, it's a very bad deal. Something like the old Chevy Bolt, which has been discontinued, is better in every single way than this. If you're looking for a cheap EV, there is the Volkswagen e-Golf, much better car. Used Tesla Model 3, way better. Even a used Polestar 2 is an incredible option at the moment because those have depreciated horrifically. But the Fiat 500e at any of those prices, I cannot recommend. It is the same price as a Prius Prime, which is just so much better, and sure, that has a stop sale right now, but at least it's not because no one wants to buy them. And at that $33,000 Canadian mark, you can get a hybrid Civic, a hybrid Corolla, so many other cars that are just so much more of a complete package. They have good steering, a comfortable ride, a bit more room. The only thing that this car has is looking cool, and in my opinion, that's not enough to sell a car. So yeah, I am very sorry, Stellantis. That's my honest opinion of this car. It is what it is. It also is the end of this video. Huge thanks for sticking around, hit like, get subscribed, and just have a great old day. I'll see you guys in the next one.